My name is Boyd Varty. I think of myself as an artist of experience. My passion is to create transformational experiences for myself and others as a way to explore what it means to truly live. My central exploration is to live on what I would call the track of your life. To me, this is to live courageously towards the discovery of what you are called to and to what life asks of you. So much of how I live has been informed by my passion as an animal tracker. I'm following the trail of my own life and reporting back. This show is a daily broadcast from a treehouse on the Londolozi Game Reserve in the wild eastern part of South Africa. Londolozi is a 14,000 hectare wilderness reserve adjacent to the Kruger National Park. The land is home to lion, leopard, rhino, elephant and buffalo, as well as a variety of other animals. I am your host, Boyd Varty. My goal is to spend 40 days and 40 nights alone in the wilderness to explore the archetype of the mystic in nature and hone my skills as a tracker. These are my daily stories. Day 39. Reflection. Journal entry. A ceremony is a place to remember to remember. In the ceremony, you create new awareness to carry back into your life. The end of the ceremony is the beginning of integrating all of the insights that came to you during your ceremony. As I walk through my last 39 days, I have a lot to reflect on. I remember the resistance that rose before leaving home. I must remember that sometimes we resist the medicine we most need. I remember that anxiety of those first few days, when 6 weeks seemed like eternity. I must remember to sit with anxiety with compassion for a few days, particularly in something new and unknown, one day at a time. I remember the feeling of a shell being taken off after a week as I got my attention back, the feeling of attuning to nature rather than technology. How do I work with this in a real way during my return? I expect extreme measures are the only thing that will work. I know that simple living with simple routines are my path, daily life as a practice with grounded rhythms. Optimization for me comes out of consistency. I must remember to sometimes just start. And I can go on, and I will. All through the day I intend to reflect on all of these moments. Of course, in my experience, re-entry is its own journey and art form. You can find yourself rapidly back in old patterns and ways, mad at yourself, feeling like you achieved nothing. But you have to remember, in change processes, we spiral forward, sometimes feeling we are back where we were, but in truth in the same place, but on a different rung of the spiral. We move from being unconsciously unconscious to being consciously unconscious, to being consciously conscious, to being unconsciously conscious. The key is to notice yourself, watch yourself. Just pay attention without judgment, and that will create the awareness to shift from. I've come to be closer with a young and frozen part of myself that has not been able to open up or settle. I've felt that ice thaw out here, and I know that the pattern of my movement will change now. Our inner world shapes our outer world, and I feel a change in my own process. Imagination, creativity, enchantment, tracking, storytelling, pattern interruption. These are the realms I want my mind to rest in, and nature, always nature, is the deepest teacher. The gratitude I feel for the land here is impossible to put into words. Londolozi has produced experience after experience with its wild creatures. Beauty to the point where I felt I would be overwhelmed. Elephants, rhino, leopards, moonrises, starry skies, sunsets, storms. I will certainly miss the elephant's mid-morning arrival at the river for a splash and a drink. I will miss the way the stars move all through the night across the sky. My father's mentor, Ken Tinley, said that you should sleep a night under the stars once a month for the wellness of your spirit. That makes total sense. And the tree. Oh, well, that's a love story all of its own. This tree has been my home. I've been a part of its ecosystem of squirrels, birds, insects, shade, lichens, photosynthesis, alchemy. This tree has taught me so much. It has been the host of one of the most transformational 6 weeks of my life. A friend through every one of my moods. A place to roost. In native cultures, everything is alive. No living thing is inanimate. It is a being. I understand that now. This tree has been a true friend and will continue to be. In gratitude, I also turn to all of you who came along for the ride. I had never done a podcast before, and you've all let me learn on the fly and sent so many notes of support. It was very special to do this both alone and with you, the perfect combination in some magical way. All of us are now connected. We're a little community. We know why we're here, to heal, to bring restoration to nature, to awaken, to bring back the new old ways, to make firelight sacred again, to reimagine living back to its simple roots, to have fun, to reach out, to not let it all be too serious, and to remember what living actually is. People always used to say to me on the last day of a retreat, well, I guess it's back to the real world. And what if that's not true? What if what we made here is the real world? What if this natural scape is the most real world? I don't mean to be earnest. And actually it's not that. It's just a deep sense of the sacred. It makes me reflective. In Christian art, Jesus is often depicted with his eyes open, and in Buddhist art, the Buddha is usually shown with his eyes closed. Some say this has to do with the outward and inward nature of each way. In truth, we need, as Richard Rohr says, contemplation in action. No enlightenment or new awareness or healing or insight has any power until it is lived. Right action comes out of contemplation, and action should rest in contemplation. And so, I am also full of a very simple desire to do the best work I can do in the world towards the transformation of consciousness. It's a good place to be, hungry to bring yourself forth to life. Today, I'm going to run as far as I can, slowly relishing the feeling of the land under me. I'm going to swim in the river and sit by the fire. I'm going to be giving thanks to everything and to everyone who made this possible. It's a time to reflect on our reflections. And P.S., it's probably good I'm close to the end, as, full disclosure, I have a tooth that is killing me. I've thought about pulling it out myself like a wild man, but in truth, I just don't have the guts. I guess the lasting question is that in a matter of time, and I'm sure it's just a matter of time, all of our lives will go back to, air commas, normal. And what do we want that normal to be? Right now, I'm sitting up in the branches of the tree. A flock of wood hoopoes have just flown by. The air is cool and the sun is warm. Franklins call in the undergrowth all around me. The tree is eating carbon and making food from light. The river is a current of life below me. The tree house is like a nest. My books, tarpaulins, clothes, yoga mats are all hanging around me. A woodpecker is hammering a tree nearby, and it's quiet. Well, quiet in the way of nature, where the sounds make the silence rather than break it. COVID has been so hard for so many people in many terrible ways. But it also gave me a glimpse back in time. This reserve has been an empty Eden, and I have been Adam. What will it mean in the next 30 years to have lived in solitude with wild animals? What will it mean to have followed the trails of a rhino as a tracker? Will it all be gone, or will we wake up? And would you find it very hard to understand if I said, I'm learning to be at peace with both? I might just be beginning to glimpse what it might mean to be a mystic. Wherever we land, it, God, the Buddha nature, the Logos, the audible life stream, the Tao, wherever we land, it will be there. 4-0, out.
This has been another episode of the Track Your Life podcast with Boyd Varty. Follow us on Instagram at Boyd_Varty, Twitter at Boyd Varty. Visit Boyd's website at boydvarty.com or subscribe to this podcast in your favorite podcast player. Please rate and review this podcast so that more people can find and enjoy it.